I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to week 5 of 6 in my Countdown to Halloween series. Today I'm making this pinched self-closing box. It's made out of a 6x6 inch piece of cardstock. I'm using the Frightfully Cute bundle, which you can find on page 52 of the July to December 2021 mini catalogue. This is the stamp set and these are the dies. The only die I'm using today is the circle die for this label tag here. I'm doing a bit of stamping and using the Cute Halloween 6x6 Designer Series paper for the back. These are the Cute Halloween Designer Series paper. I'm using this pattern in particular. And this is the reverse, which is all black and white. The inks I'm using are Highland Heather, Smoky Slate, Pumpkin Pie and Tuxedo Black Memento ink. The Playful Pets combo trim, I'm using the white Baker's Twine one. And the 2021 to 2023 in colour jewels. Let's run through the cardstock you need. So for the box base, this will be 6x6 inches in Highland Heather. And in metric that will be 15.2 by 15.2 centimetres. A basic black piece for the belly band, and that's been cut at 1 7/8 by 6 inches. So in metric that will be 4.5 by 15 centimetres. For the front of the belly band, there's basic white piece which measures 1 5/8 by 1 7/8. In metric that will be 4 centimetres by 5 centimetres. And for the back of the box, you need a piece of Cute Halloween 6x6 Designer Series paper, which has been cut at 1 3/4 by 1 7/8 for the back. And in metric, that will be 4 centimetres by 5 centimetres. A piece of scrap for the tag, which is 2 inches by 2 inches, and in metric that will be 5 by 5 centimetres. You'll probably need a 1/16 of an inch or slightly larger a handheld hole punch. Now Stampin' Up used to carry it, but it doesn't anymore. But if you've still got yours, you can use it. So let's do the tag first. I'm going to stamp the witch in Smoky Slate, and I'm going to stamp off first because I want it lighter. Then I'm going to stamp my sentiment, less tricking, more treating, over the witch. Ink up the pumpkin and randomly stamp some pumpkins on here. My Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and stamp Batty for You first. Then the bats. Now if it hasn't come out as dark as I want it, I can go over it with a black marker pen. Oh bother, I forgot to press record. I've gone ahead and stamped the potions bottles in Highland Heather, the spider and the greeting and the bats. So I'll set those aside. Actually, I'll die cut that label. So my cutting sandwich will be platform 1, platform 2, one of the platform 3s, the cardstock with the die cutting edge face down, and then the top platform 3, and I'm ready to run that through the machine, so I'll do that off camera. Take my handheld punch and punch a hole in the top. Now let's bring in the 6x6 inch piece of cardstock and my scoring board. So we start off by scoring one side at 2 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 4¾ inches and 5½ inches. And in metric, the cardstock will be 15.2 by 15.2, and you're scoring at 5 centimeters, 7, 12 and 14 centimeters. Rotate the cardstock clockwise a quarter turn, and you want to score it then at 1 inch, 2 inches, 4 inches and 5 inches. If you're doing it in metric, then you would do a quarter turn, score at 2.5 centimeters and 5 centimeters, then rotate it 180 degrees and do the other end at 2.5 and 5 centimeters. So now your cardstock for the Imperial, you would have scored it at 1, 2, 4 and 5. Now you need to rotate the cardstock clockwise so that the wider panel is on your left and the shorter panel is on your right. Then you score at 2 3/8 inches at the top down to this first score line here, and then at 2 3/8 inches from the bottom edge you score up to the first score line here. Then you repeat a partial score from 5 1/8 down to that first score line, and then at 5 1/8 at the bottom, 5 1/8. Okay, so you can see it better on this piece of cardstock here. So I've scored at 2 3/8 here, 2 3/8 here, 5 1/8 here, and 5 1/8 down the bottom here. For the metric one, again you rotate your cardstock so that the wide panel is on your left, the short panel is on your right, and then you score that at 5 centimeters down to the first score line, 5 centimeters from the bottom up to the first score line at the bottom, and then at 13 centimeters from the top down to that first score line, and at the bottom 13 centimeters up to the first score line at the bottom. So now we want to just take away this little rectangle here, right to the corner slightly there. Just the two small rectangles here, okay? So that's the flap that joins the box together. Then you want to cut up to the first score line on all these scores here. Turn it the other way and cut up all those score lines there. Now we need to make the pinch points. So basically these are your guidelines for scoring the diagonals. So you go line up your cardstock on the score line here, at the middle of your scoreboard, which is, I marked mine at 6 inches. Then I turn that down, put my stylus in the groove, on the 6-inch groove, and then I swivel until I can see the score line, and I score up to that score line diagonally in that rectangle here. Okay, line it up, and then the opposite one, swivel and score. Now I've got my diagonal score lines. Can you see that? So you repeat for all the others. Okay. Now you want to reinforce your score lines. So turn it over and put your fingernail in there so you can tease those score lines. Okay, reinforce the score lines now. to create the flaps for the box. So you want to take that bit away. Okay. So there's your box and there's your flaps. So this is going to be your lid. So you want to keep that intact. So bend that back so you don't accidentally cut it away. Bring in my big scissors, I think, and you just want to cut all these away. So you keep this, there should be 3 panels left over, so you want to keep those. You keep the wide panel, the narrow panel, you cut those rectangles away. This one, the 3rd panel in, which is the wide panel again, that's your lid, so you keep that. Additional items you need are some retired punches. This is my corner rounder. The trio corner rounder doesn't work with this project, so I've kept mine. And if you haven't got one, then just simply round off the corners by eye with your scissors. Yeah, so you can do it like so, but since I've got mine, I'll do it with my corner rounder punch. Now I want to punch a finger hole on this larger, wider tab, so just gauge it's 1/2 inch and it's equidistant from either side. Then I want to put double-sided tape along this flap here. So remove the backing tape, fold the flap over, and that's the box. So pinch your sides together like so, and it's a self-closing box. You need a bone folder just to curl this lid a little bit. It's a bit tricky to get it started. Basically, when you pinch it, you want that flap to go on this side of the fold to keep it closed. Let me get it started first. It's sort of rolling and pinching at the same time. Like so. Okay. And then the same with this side. So you're rolling and pinching at the same time, and then it just keeps it closed. Now this is the join of the box. The finger hole should be on the front. So you want the 1/2 inch one to go along the bottom, fold it, and then crease it as you go along. And then you should finish with depth of the box, which is about 3/4 of an inch, overlapping this smaller piece, and that will give you a nice neat finish. Before you glue it down, you want to put a bit of baker's twine in. I think this piece is round about 18 inches. Glue this to the back of your box, which is the one without the finger hole. And the stamp piece on the front of the box. To make my life easy, the baker's twine, I've threaded the baker's twine through a tapestry needle. Now I'm going to tie a bow. I forgot to add the sweeties. Let me go and get some. It will fit a couple of these miniature sweets in. Then the last finishing touch. And there's the little treat box finished. This is the penultimate project. It's gone so fast. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then do give me a thumbs up, like or share. You'll find the list of supplies I used below this video in the show more section. You can also read more about it on my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back soon. Bye!